Wow, 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 wow. Okay, it's quieting down. Let me start here. Little housekeeping going on. I'm really big on safety, you all, so for those on the stairs, just be careful, okay? Well, good afternoon again. My name is Lori Nelson. I serve as the Senior Advisor for Racial Justice for the City of Boston, and I am happy to say Happy Black History Month. I have the privilege of trying to walk us through a brief program today as we also celebrate this centennial year of celebrating Black history and not only what it means for the city of Boston, but certainly the nation. And so I want to again welcome you on behalf of the city, on behalf of the mayor, who we will hear from a little later. But my responsibility is to start this program right. And so without further ado, I would like for you all to join me in welcoming a young woman who has done amazing work in the city and has a powerful voice. Mrs. Akia will come and she will start us off with the national anthem. We are doing an abbreviated version because of the time, and thank you all for being here, and then we will move from there. So without further ado, if you all would please rise and welcome Zakia to the podium.
Happy Black History Month, everyone. What a great way to start us off, right? If you happen to know it, feel free to join with me. Lift every voice and sing, yeah, that's it, till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Happy Black History Month.
Can you all please give Zakia another round of applause? Well, this is going to be a little difficult. I now have the distinct honor of introducing not only my brother, friend, and one of the, I would say, one of the leading leaders in this current space of civil rights, one who has done an outstanding job of shepherding and being the senior pastor for the historic 12th Baptist Church, one who has also been pivotal in ensuring that Black history is not only anchored in how we do the narrative here in Boston, but one who is led as it relates to many issues that have faced the Black community and brown community in Boston. The Reverend Willie Bodrick II has a portfolio that is too long to read. I'm going to tell y'all the truth, but I will say this about him. What I've watched and witnessed about him is he is very authentic in everything he does. He is very much led by God and his faith, and he is very much led by the people who he serves throughout the city and the Commonwealth. And if you all would do me the honor and privilege of welcoming our speaker for today, who will set the tone as to the centennial and this why, please help me welcome the Reverend Willie Bodrick II, the pastor of 12th Baptist Church, the historic 12th Baptist Church, to the podium. Please come.
Usually I say, let the church say amen. Amen. To our Madam Mayor, Michelle Wu, to Lori Nelson, God bless you. To the cabinet chiefs, see my brother Shagun Edewu, God bless you. Will Dickerson, my counselor in Roxbury, the Reverend Culpepper right here. Come on, give God praise. They gave this black preacher a few minutes. So I ask that you just take just a moment with me. May the words of my mouth and meditations of all of our hearts, minds, and souls be acceptable in thine sight. O Lord, you are our strength, and you are truly our Redeemer. We give you all this time today in Black History Month. Let every heart and mind say together, amen. I want to use for a topic for this Black History Month, Black history will save us. Black history will save us. My brothers and sisters, today we gather to celebrate 100 years of Black History Month. 100 years of intentional remembering. 100 years of sacred reflection. 100 years of people refusing to let the world write the story about us. Black History Month is not just a ceremony. It's a declaration. It's a proclamation. It is a public statement that we are here to stay, that we belong, that we have built here, that we have lived here, and that we ain't going nowhere. And family, we have to admit that we're living in a storm in this nation right now. There are forces in this country that are trying to roll back the progress. There are forces in this country trying to erase the truth. Forces that are trying to silence our stories, ban our books, attack our culture. They don't want to just control policy, they want to control memory. And if we're not careful, we'll think Black History Month is just about a celebration, but I came to tell you today, right here in City Hall, that Black History Month is about survival. Yeah. And on this day, I come with clarity, conviction, and courage to say, Black history will save us. First, Black history will save us from the dangers of willful amnesia. Willful amnesia is not just forgetting, but it's also losing yourself and losing who we are. And when a people forgets who they are, they start to believe what others say about them. And that's why willful amnesia is deadly. Because the moments we lose memory, we lose meaning, we lose direction, we lose power. And let's be clear, Black History Month is not just about what happened to us, but Black History Month is about how we resisted, how we responded, and how we redefined our stories for ourselves. All right. Black history is the evidence and the proof. It is a living witness that we were never who America tried to make us be. They tried to reduce us to property. They tried to reduce us to our labor. They tried to reduce us to stereotypes. They tried to reduce us to fear. But Black History Month continues to show us a holy contradiction. It reminds us that we were builders before we were ever in bondage, that we were thinkers before we were ever trafficked across the seas. We were fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God before the Commonwealth or the nation ever wrote a constitution. That's why the system has always fought so hard to control the story. Because controlling the story means you can control memory. You can control memory. You control destiny. And if you can rewrite the past, you can manipulate the future. And that's what we're seeing right now. Folks who are trying to distort what people have been through, because if you distort what folks have been through, then you can distort what we believe. And we continue to deal with this erasure. We continue to deal with this sanitization. We continue to deal with this reality. This is not just politics. I came to declare that it's strategy. It's not just mere disagreements that are happening in America. It's warfare on its people. Because erasing history is the first step to erasing one's humanity. And in the moment right now, we're dealing with a national attempt to make America forget. Forget the violence, forget the theft, forget the resistance, forget the brilliance, forget the organizing, forget the sacrifice, forget the fact that much of what we call American greatness was built on the backs and on the labor and on the minds of bodies that were Black in this country. But when we remember our history, we recover what amnesia stole from us. We remember our dignity. We remember our identity. We remember our self-worth. We remember our purpose. And memory reminds us that we are not accidental Black people. It reminds us that we have survived too much to surrender right now. And Black history is not only the history of Black people in this country, it's the history of America. Black history is the mirror that forces this nation to keep looking at itself. And Black history reminds America and Boston that it was not the Beacon Hill it claimed to be. You can't be a beacon on the hill as people were in chains. You can't be a beacon on a hill in a segregated country. You can't be a beacon on the hill when redlining ran through our neighborhoods. You can't be a beacon on the hill when folks were excluded and folks were lynched and folks were denied loans and jobs and justice and their dignity. You can't be a beacon on that hill. And Black America and Black history holds this country accountable to the ideals that it says it believes. We celebrate freedom here in Boston. The revolution is remembered in this 250th year of our country. Black history stands up to say that you can't tell a story about liberty if you're going to keep out the people who fought for it. So we've got to tell the story. We've got to teach it. We've got to celebrate it, because if you choose to forget, that is not neutral. That is surrender. Yeah. And we won't surrender our story. We won't surrender our memory. We won't surrender our dignity. Black history saves us also from the paralysis of despair. Despair makes you stuck. It paralyzes you. It convinces you that nothing is ever going to change, that nothing we do matters, that the struggle is too heavy and that the hill is too steep to climb. And if we're honest, there are plenty of folks in this country that are trying to push this kind of hopelessness every day. We look around and we see violence from our government against our own citizens. We see schools that are struggling and housing prices that are rising and families being pushed out. We see black wealth still behind, and we see inequities in our healthcare system. We see racism in the central power place of our country. And for some people, they want to just holler and throw up their hands. For some people, they're just tired of being tired. But that's where despair becomes deadly, because it doesn't just attack our emotions, it attacks our movements. And Black history saves us from the paralysis of despair because it proves that we come from survivors and builders and freedom fighters. It reminds us that Black history is not just facts and information, it is spiritual evidence that we have been through worse and we will make it through it again. So don't be discouraged on this day, because if you're discouraged today, you don't just need motivation, you need your inheritance. You don't just need some type of pep talk, you need perspective. You need to remember what's in you, and you need to remember who you came from. Because our ancestors did not just survive some small obstacles, but our ancestors overcome. And because they overcame, that in the midst of all of the brutality, they still created beauty. They created faith institutions, they created families, they created businesses, they created movements, they created culture. They made music out of their misery. They made joy out of their struggle. They created community out of chaos. And they made progress even in the face of persecution. And that's why we must let this generation know what our previous generations went through. Because when you forget your history, you forget where you come from. When you forget your history, you start to think that your hardship is new and distinct. You start thinking that you're the first one to struggle, that you're the only one in this unique situation. You start to think that things are all over, but I came to tell Boston, we've been here before. We know how to organize. We know how to advocate. We know how to pray. We know how to build. We know how to resist. We know how to survive times like this. We've got abolitionists and activists, preachers and poets, educators and freedom fighters. We are a people that stand upon the giants, and it is Black history and Black people who have always pushed America to be what it said it was on paper. And I came to say that that same spirit is in us today. My last point is this: Black history saves us by giving us a blueprint to re-architect and rebuild right now. Black history doesn't just tell us about what happened. It teaches us to do what is next, to use the blueprint, use the strategies, and pave a way forward. And in this moment, we don't just need inspiration, we need instruction. We need not just a time of reflection, but we need reconstruction. Because the truth is, we're living in a moment where we can't afford to delay any longer. And the blueprint that Black history gives us helps us to rebuild right now. Black history is not only remembrance, it is strategy. It is not just a collection of names and dates that we remember. It's not just 1 month on a calendar. It's not just the museums that are right here in Beacon Hill, but Black history shows us how to survive systems that are meant to destroy us. Black history teaches us a pattern. It teaches us how power works, how progress is resisted, how movements are built, how communities survive. And though the tactics may look different, though the language may be coded, though the policy looks different, the still spirit remains, and we know how to overcome. It shows us that every time black people get close to equity, there's always been a backlash in this country. That every time we build momentum, somebody tries to move the goalposts. Every time we advance, there's an effort to divide us and distract us or discourage us. So black history lets us know how we can recognize the patterns. And the blessing of black history is that it doesn't just show us the problems, it gives us the solutions. It shows us that in moments like these, we need education, economic cooperation, faith and moral vision, organized protests. We need institution building. We don't need any fragile trends. We don't need any outrage without organizing. We don't need any hashtags without habits. We don't need fragile allyship. That's important today. And that's the charge to Boston. That's my charge to each of you. Because Boston is a city full of legacy. But legacy without actions becomes mythology. And we're not here to romanticize the past, but we are here to finish what our ancestors started. That means no longer can we afford to delay the equity demands for our community. No longer can we afford deferred dreams and postpone justice when many black Bostonians have bled and died to live in this city with dignity. And I must say this today, that the meaningful opportunity to bring meaningful economic prosperity and development to Roxbury, Dorchester, and Mattapan must not be ignored or overlooked. So that means we've got to close opportunity gaps. We've got to close achievement gaps. We've got to close wealth gaps. We've got to close health gaps. We've got to close the housing gaps. Those gaps are not natural. They are designed, and if they were designed, they can be dismantled. So family, today, we need everybody in this room. We need true commitment to justice. We don't need allies that just show up when it's popular. We don't need allies that disappear when it's costly. We don't need allies who love music but hate the message. We don't need allies who only want diversity but not any disruption. We need people of all races, of all creeds. We need partners of all faiths. We need leaders. We need every neighbor in the city of Boston to be committed to justice, even when justice is inconvenient. Every real movement requires commitment in times of discomfort. So we celebrate Black history today. And we are not just honoring the past, but we're celebrating it because we know that Black history will save us. It saves us because it refuses to let us forget who we are. It'll save us because we won't let despair have the last word. It saves us because it hands us the blueprint to rebuild a better future right now. And that is my call and claim to each of you today. Because we come from a people who've been counted out, but we've never been canceled. We are people who've been oppressed, but we have kept overcoming. We are people who've been pushed down, but never pushed out. And the good news is on this day, we are still here. We're still building, we're still praying, we're still marching, we're still dreaming, we're still working, we're still loving, we're still singing, we're still surviving, we are still succeeding. So today I don't just celebrate Black History Month, but as the pastor of the historic 12th Baptist Church in Roxbury, I also celebrate the God who carried us through history. And so even on this day, I stand in the shoes of my ancestors who declared, sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on until victory is won. And if we want victory, then we can declare this day in this city hall in Black History Month the good words that close that great song. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who has brought us thus far along the way, thou who is by thy might lead us into the light and keep us forever in the path we pray. Black history will save us. God bless you. God bless the city of Boston. God bless the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Happy Black History Month.
So it's very hard to come back to the mic after this. If we would give one more round of applause to the Reverend Willie Bodrick II for centering us and reminding us of who we are and what we are charged to do. In this role as the Senior Advisor for Racial Justice, I have a tagline in my email. Be bold, be courageous, be vigilant. The next person who I'm asking to come to the mic demonstrates this every day. She demonstrates this with how she has governed this city, how she continues to stand bold and courageous before not only those who would come for this city, within this city, but the nation. She continues to stand when people would tell her not to stand. She continues to fight for our freedoms and so that the city of Boston can continue to lead as it always has done. And so, with boldness and courageous, and someone who is always vigilant, please rise and welcome our mayor, Mayor Michelle Wu.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much to the incredible, incomparable Miss Lori Nelson for all that you do for our city, for the leadership that you show day after day, to everyone from Ben for helping to organize today and so many of our most important gatherings in the city. And shout out to Chiron, who I think is watching, but is I hope, home and in bed and recovering under the weather. Thank you, Lori, also for just stalling a little bit so we could let the Reverend's words settle, so I didn't have to come up right afterwards. We gave the Reverend just a few minutes. But does anyone else in here ever feel like when the Reverend Dr. Willie Bodrick II speaks, time stands still? So you can take as many minutes as you want on any topic, and we need to feel every bit of the guidance, the leadership, the accountability that you provide, and I'm so thankful to count you as a partner in all that we do for the city. There are many other colleagues in government who are here as well, so I want to recognize some of my state and county and city officials who are here. Our clerk, Miss Allison Cartwright, thank you for what you do. Council President Liz Braden, City Councilor Reverend Minyard Culpepper, City Councilor Ed Flynn is in the house. Who else is here? Okay. Did I miss you? Okay, sorry. Okay. City Councilor John Fitzgerald. Thank you, thank you. It's so hard. Okay. City Councilor Henry Santana, City Councilor Aaron Murphy, City Councilor Ben Weber. Thank you to all of our colleagues. And I want to recognize Miss Marilyn, of course, also representing our neighborhoods, but also State Rep Holmes and all that you do. There are many, many people whose charge and whose work in City Hall drives us forward to try to just contribute what we can as a community to that growing legacy that Reverend Bodrick lifted up. In addition to those who I've already mentioned, I also want to lift up Frank Farrow, who's the Executive Director of our Commission on Black Male Advancement. Legislatively creative, but administratively led, and thank you to all of the commissioners for their work for the city. Every year, we come together, and in the city of Boston, we celebrate Black history, the countless ways in which a community and a people's struggles and strategy, resilience and results have forever changed the opportunities for every other community. My family would not be in this country. I would not exist in this country if not for the doors, the laws changed, the rights secured, the bloodshed from Black civil rights activists who put their bodies on the line so that everyone else afterwards could walk through that door with a little bit more proximity to the values of our country. And while we're always excited to kick off Boston's Black History Month events, and it is a month of events, we know that this year it comes with a little bit greater weight and gravitas. Not only are we in a moment where the very survival of our people and our communities all across the city are at threat, we're also at a moment that's an inflection point in the very history and historical markers of our stories. This month marks 100 years since the father of Black history, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, who earned his PhD right across the river and was the only child of enslaved people in the United States to ever earn a PhD at that point, hosted the nation's first celebration of Black heritage and Black achievement. In Boston, we know that that history has dated back far beyond 100 years. We can count all the way back to Crispus Attucks, a Black Bostonian who stood up against tyranny just a short walk from where we are now and gave his life to light the flames of the American Revolution. We are a city where the first Black regiment stepped up to serve in the Civil War, where the Abel Smith School became the first building constructed solely as a public school for Black children, and where we recognized that separate was never equal, which is why 5-year-old Sarah Roberts and her father Benjamin Roberts filed a lawsuit challenging school segregation and ignited a national conversation far before Brown v. Board passed a century later. And last fall, we cut the ribbon on the Sarah Roberts School, named after one of Boston's bravest young pioneers. Welcome, Councilor Lejeune, as well. This is a city where the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King led a march of 22,000 people deep from Roxbury to the Common, demanding access to quality education, and that the North and New England look itself in the mirror as well as what was happening in the South. And today, we continue to hold ourselves to that legacy as home to so many Black leaders who continue to carry on the charge for justice, who continue to fight to make Boston a home for everyone. 2026, as you know, is the 250th anniversary of the founding of America. And while, thanks to Dr. Woodson, Black history has been officially commemorated for only the last 100 of those years, I will say again that Black history is American history, dating back all 250 years and beyond. We know that this month means more than just remembering who got us here and how we got here. This month is a call to action for every moment right now and every moment to come. For Boston to march forward with pride and resolve, to move in solidarity with our Black residents and leaders, and to recognize that our action is especially urgent this year and right now. As we mark 100 years of celebrating Black history, far too many are trying to erase it, trying to deny the discrimination that Black Americans overcame and dismiss the impact that Black Americans have had on this country. They're banning books, rewriting curricula, claiming reverse discrimination, suing cities who are standing in their way, and pretending that centuries of struggle and triumph just didn't happen. But here in Boston, we don't just rewrite history, we learn from it. We celebrate the people who led us and the people who continue to lead us. We tear down barriers of inequality and work our very hardest to try to build more opportunities, more joy, more connection, more community. So thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for showing up every day for our city in all of the lessons that we have learned and all the lessons that we continue to learn. Black history shows the path forward. So as we celebrate this month with communities all across the city, I just remind all of us who have the privilege and the joy to work in this building and to serve the public every day, that as the Reverend said, this moment is about building community, building teams, building coalitions, building the future that we will be able to look our kids and grandkids in the eye one day and say, this is what we did when we needed to stand up. This month should be the reminder of all that we have come through, all that our Black community has put on the line for Boston and for this country, and all that we need to do to keep putting one foot in front of the other to march forward together. So thank you for celebrating with all of us. I think this is written by Lori and the others, a shameless plug for us. Please keep an eye on boston.gov/BHM. We want to make sure you know all of the events, so go to the website and see the programming that's happening all across the city, boston.gov/BHM for Black History Month. Thank you for all that you do. Thank you for making our city who we are.
Give one more round of applause to our mayor. The mayor has already acknowledged many of our elected officials on all levels who are here with us today. I am trying to look for who I look to for protocol and to know who to call. I'm looking for Martine. Anyone seen Martine? In any event, we'll keep moving. Okay. Having said that, I think I am standing in the way of two things happening. The first is we are going to close this out with another person who actually knows how to center moments, how to lift up history, and how to ensure that we all learn and grow together. She is a poet who has certainly continued to provide history, provide relevance, and who is bold in how she speaks. And as this is happening, I am very aware that it is cold outside. So, true confession, we were going to do the flag raising where we were going to ask all of you all to go outside. But it is cold. And so as she is doing this poem, the flag is going to be raised outside, symbolically. Is that all right? I see smiles. I'll go with smiles. That works, and claps. Okay. Having said that, coming to our podium right now is Amanda Shea. You all have known Amanda for her work. She is one who always comes when we need her. And I'm just happy to have you here. So please welcome Amanda Shea, and please understand symbolically there is a flag that is outside and it is cold. And so the flag will be going up as she says these words. And then finally, we would not be remiss if we did not tell you that behind the people and behind the cameras, there is celebratory food, because we believe in celebrating well. There will be a reception afterwards, and we welcome you all to stay. Please join me in welcoming Amanda Shea to the podium.
Good afternoon, everybody. I don't like that energy. Good afternoon, everybody. I know that's right. Also, and I would be remiss if I did not name that not only are we in Black History Month, but I was born in this month, so I need all of the energy. My birthday's Friday. I want to thank Lori for always inviting me, Susan as well, for everyone who spoke, Mayor Wu. To follow you is an honor, so thank you so much for having me. Before I begin, I just want to say there is a quote that I live by every single day. One, Black History Month is not just a month, it's 365 or 366, yes, yes. And the second thing is, in the words of Trey Andre Valentine, we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors while also standing on their graves. I think that the more that we move with intention, the more strides we could make to progression. So this piece is called Black Excellence because we just that. And Zakia's voice is absolutely amazing, so I'm gonna try to do this justice. Dream of a land my soul is from. I hear a hand stroke on a drum. Shades of delight, cocoa hue, rich as the night, afro blue. Our land, the motherland, where the sun illuminates our melanin, we glow different. Afro descendants, fighting oppression in systematic institutions, black magic, huh? We turned into black girl magic. That energy you can feel. We be calling it vibes. Snapping our necks and fingers like, yes, sis. Our voices carry joy. They be like, how can these people be so liberated when we violate their civil rights in their existence, huh? We exist in ourselves. Our ancestors birthed doulas in order to reproduce black babies that ignite the culture. Natural hair, braided locks, wigs, we weave beauty into sculpted masterpieces. How we be speaking with our eyes and we be knowing what that look mean. Call it telepathy, like how our ancestors speak to us in dreams. How multilingual we are when we say, "Ça passe, que lo que." Where my Afro-Latinas at? What it do, homie? What's up? We out here complimenting each other like, man, where you going just like that? Means you look good with a T on the end. We embody deities, Aphrodite. They tried to abandon us overseas. What they didn't know is we are healing folk, protected by crystals, obsidian, like tune and orishas, like Emiya carried us to safety, surely providing our fruit for livelihood. Cropping out negativity and planting seeds in the backyards and windowsills to feed our families. Our chants become mantras. Ceremonies held in homes and churches and city hall. Angola, Nigeria, Ghana, Haiti, Igbo people, we are historic. We were buried in gold. We are the definition of royalty. Our music, pulsating a frequency that demands you to move. Lauryn Hill, Jill Scott, Kendrick Lamar, they not like us, they not like us, resonates deeply. We are culturally appropriated, and yet we still act accordingly. We can move things just by standing still. It's cosmic, it's spiritual, it's God. We sprinkle all that razzle-dazzle on everything. No matter societal constraints or tactics, we thrive, period. The epitome of black excellence. Dream of a land my soul is from. I hear a hand stroke on a drum. Rich as the night, cocoa hue. Rich as the night, afro blue. Thank you.
Okay, we're doing a little bit of an edit here. Because we were so caught up in the moment, we actually have a proclamation for Black History Month, and so the mayor will read the proclamation. Do you want?
So if I could invite up all the speakers, all of our elected officials, all our BEN members, anyone who wants to join us up here for the picture, come on up while I read the proclamation. So whereas Sunday, February 1st marks the centennial of Black History Month, as we celebrate the many achievements and contributions made by African Americans to our economic, cultural, spiritual, and political development, whereas African Americans historically underserved continue to work to advance equity, address health inequities, closing racial gaps in education, economic opportunity, and striving for equal justice under the law. Whereas Black History Month's centennial anniversary represents a legacy of progress rooted in the successes of so many who have taken a stand to eliminate racial injustice and institutional discrimination bestowed through laws, policies, and social practices. Now, therefore, I, Michelle Wu, Mayor of the City of Boston, do hereby proclaim February 2026 to be Black History Month in the City of Boston.